probably about 40 batteries because they don't work, or folks don't know when they were tested last. About 4 years ago, we did get a grant from Michigan Blue Cross Blue Shield to buy smoke detectors to put in homes. And a year ago, Resurrection Life Church donated some carbon monoxide detectors to us that we could place in homes at no cost. We can buy smoke detectors very affordably at Peter's Hardware. He gives us a real buy on those, so it's affordable to put them in. CO detectors, even at a good buy, usually are running $20 to $25. I can't afford that in the fire department budget. We would like to find funding to do more CO detectors. When we were putting those in this last year, we had one CO detector left, and a lady called wanting to know if we had any. And so one evening, 2 or 3 firemen went over to put her CO detector in, and she was an older lady. When they got there, she was handicapped, wheelchair bound, and she just thought it might be a good thing to have a CO detector. So they unpackaged the thing and got the battery unwrapped, put it in, and they were going to plug it in a lower outlet like you see along the walls here. And the fellow went over and he bent over to plug it in, and before he got it plugged in, it started to beep. You know, there's something wrong. He picked it up, kind of looked at it, and quit beeping, and tested it, worked okay. He reached back down to plug it in, it started to beep again. So he picked it up, looked at it, did that 3 times. Every time he'd get it down about knee level, it'd start to beep. And so the 3 of them got talking. It acts like there's CO here. So finally they just plugged it in and set a minute to see if it would just quit. Well, it just kept beeping. So they unplugged it, called me and said, what do we do? I said, well, first thing, call consumers and have them come test for carbon monoxide. Second thing, call the Salvation Army or Red Cross and see if they can find housing for this lady. She had no family. She said she had no money for a motel. She had no place to go. She could not drive. Consumers came and tested. She had significant levels of carbon monoxide. Her furnace was malfunctioning. And then she said, well, I know it needs some repair, but I have no money. I don't remember now if it was Red Cross or Salvation Army that came in, got her housing, transported her, made arrangements eventually to get her furnace fixed. But that very well could be a fatality averted just by the timing of her call. But we believe firmly in smoke detectors. There are 2 reasons. If you know there's a fire, you can get out. And if your house and everything in it burns into the basement, it doesn't matter if you got out. Several years ago, we were called to assist Alma with a fire, house fire. I didn't know whose house it was. We're there fighting the fire, and the gentleman who owned the house had been called at work, and he came home. And I thought, I didn't know that's who lived here. Then a moment later, his wife drove in with the children in the car, and they were visibly distraught because their home is totally destroyed. Everything in it is destroyed. But they weren't there, they were safe. Because they weren't there, I have a lovely daughter-in-law and 3 wonderful grandchildren. And my son has some great in-laws sitting over here. Dave and Elnora weren't home when that happened. If you have a smoke detector and you get out of the house and you're safe, I don't care what you have in your home, it doesn't matter if it's gone. If you have your family, none of the rest matters. That's the first reason I believe in smoke detectors. The second reason is, if I get there with the firefighters and you tell me everyone is out, we're all safe, you know what? We will do everything we reasonably can to preserve your home and its contents. But I'm going to limit how much jeopardy I put my people in for house and contents. We will take great jeopardy to rescue you and your family. But if you're out, you're safe, and my firefighters are much safer. So I'm a little selfish on the smoke detectors.
I can tell you, smoke detectors work because the smoke detector melted off the wall, and after the fire was put out, They had to go in and shut the thing off because it was still screwing.
So yes, we still do our smoke detectors. Thank you for bringing that up. It's a very important thing. It's probably one of the most important things that we do on a regular basis. If we can keep people from being injured or killed, that's the main thing of what we do. Again, thank you so much for your time and your kindness. If any of you happen to have any old photos of fire department firemen, I would be more than happy to pay for copies of those. I'm still working on trying to get photos of all the old fire chiefs, and there are a bunch of them I need yet. So if you have any of that information, would be willing to share it, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, Chief, that was excellent. Everything.
20 to 30 minutes.
Well, you could have gone another hour. I think you really captivated everyone. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for the Chief. That concludes our meeting. The next meeting is March 24th. We are going to have a short board meeting right now. We're finished. Thanks again, Chief.
You're welcome.
You remember that one? Did you really?
This guy and that guy up there talking.
Yeah, like the back.
Oh, I didn't know. Whatever man food
Is that right?
How's John doing? Good. What's he doing?
He works for still doing these.
He went to GM.
Well, when he was in college, that one summer he worked for GM.
Okay.
Then back and finished up. Then went back to Ford.
Okay.
And
So you're talking about the car company, Nissan.
then he spun off and worked with Visteon.
Where's he at?
Well, he lives in Saline, but he works
Here in Michigan.
in Dearborn, Ford headquarters. Still on the computers.
Just don't see him anymore.
Well, he's busy. A lot of people off, fired people, not fired, not bad, retired. Doubled his load. He was getting there. He was working 12 hours a day and taking work home, and he couldn't do anything. So he was doing his job. They finally got him some help. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
Somebody ran and you and stood and pointed. Well, you know, the bell rings, and by the time you get there, there's how do you know where it's at? How do you know you're right? Is this yours?
Yeah, I just sent it around with. You want it?
Wow, Bill?
Bill come up and they.
Interesting. Oh, I gotta stop the video. Still videotaping. How do I stop this?
Through the buckle and back. Bill was